What's up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome to today, October the 14th, Tuesday, market analysis session and trade recap session. Today, we were able to take a big maximum of 0 trades. We were active throughout the session, but the issue was that no opportunity really presented itself, or perhaps we were unable to take any opportunities. So that's what we're going to be going over today. We're going to quickly analyze today's market session and see if there's anything that we missed alongside other different types of analysis. So that being said, let's get straight into it, right? So coming into the day, our idea was that we wanted to see how we react to this lower range, right? To this lower level. To this lower level. At this lower level, we wanted to see if we break below and then we continue down or react and continue up. So we're looking for these two are our main key levels, right? And these lows. What I wanted to see was first a clear direction, right? We were hovering at this area prior to market open. I want to see if price has shown clear direction heading towards the downside or clear direction heading towards the upside. And you'll see what we found because we did have a clear direction. It did shift midway, but it made sense within the overall span of the market. But the reason we might not have been able to take a trade today was simply because of the elevated volatility, right? Usually, usually our trades target anywhere from 20 to maximum 40 ticks. It usually isn't more than that. And as you can see here, every single candle is 30 if not 40 ticks, except for in consolidation sessions. And even in consolidation sessions, right? If you look at the smallest candle, that's 32 ticks. So hold on, maybe this one is smaller. 21 ticks, right? So the moves that we are wanting to capture, these 20, 30 tick moves, are happening within the span of one candle, which is showing you the true increase in volatility that we've been seeing. So there's two ways we can interpret that. We either take risk off, or we leverage this increased volatility by capturing larger moves by increasing risk. Since we are still coming back from a big trading break, I decided to take risk off. And when I mean risk off, instead of 1 ES mini, I would enter with 5 MES, which is micro ES contracts, right? And even then, I don't want to take trades without first adjusting to this increase in volatility, simply because the moves might not be as clear. Price action is not the worst. Price action was pretty decent today until perhaps 9:40, 9:45-ish. After that, it did start to get a bit choppy. Yeah, so until 9:45, we did have good price action. I did mark one area that I did want to go ahead and enter in. It was this area down here, alongside this area as well, which we were looking to take a retracement play in. But unfortunately, we were not able to. But you'll see through our analysis the different reasons. Honestly, we were looking to take a trade today, but what the market gave us in terms of confluence and confirmation to actually enter, there was no order flow based objectivity within the trades if I were going to take any trades. Thus, I did not take any trades, right? Because realistically, most strategies have an expected value of anywhere from, okay, most strategies have a very a very low negative positive value or expected value, a zeroed out expected value, or a very small positive expected value. This is profitable. this is not profitable. This is break even, right? But let's just see the equity curves that multiple people could have based on different expected values, right? So let's say we have a negative expected value. And if we have a chart like this, right? This this is negative P&L, this is positive P&L, this is a P&L chart. We're gonna have lines all across the place, right? But most of them are gonna be negative, right? Some are going to be more negative than others, and some are actually going to go ahead and be positive, and some will actually be very positive, that is too. But if we keep expanding this, what all of them will do is come back to the mean, or come back to that the amount negative that our expected value was, right? If it was positive, the chart would look something like this, right? Some would be really positive, some would even be very negative. But over time, they would come back to the mean. So you can't necessarily, that's the problem with discretionary strategies, right? You can't easily identify if a strategy is profitable or not, even if you backtest to a certain extent. I mean, if you backtest with, nah, it wouldn't work with backtesting either to an extent, simply because of the fact that when you backtest, sometimes, or even over the same set of data, right? So say we're 10 days in front of the future and we wanted to backtest this week. And we're looking at today. If some days, so let's say we're backtesting 10 days from now and 11 days from now. On the 10-day backtest, we might take a retracement play here, longing, and it would have worked out. But another day, we might have wanted to take a retracement play here, but we would have got stopped out right there, which would have been a loser. One win, one loser. Now imagine this happening over multiple sample sizes and multiple things. There's no objectivity to actually validate or invalidate a strategy completely. And that's a problem, right? I mean, objectivity does work, and that's why order flow does make such a difference, right? Because there's actual objectivity behind everything that is involved. When you're simply looking at a candlestick chart, there may be objectivity, but there are different ways to perceive something, right? For example, no matter which strategy you use, I think no matter which strategy you use, and if you didn't know if everyone had the same conclusion at a certain level and reaction, then that would be a systematic strategy where it would be more quantitative finance. Well, while the things that we are doing is not. For example, we see this low right here, and we see us break this low, right? Some people would think that this is a sweep of the lows and automatically think to go long. What happened? I mean, that's exactly what happened. Good. But some people would have seen this break, and those breakout traders would have wanted to continue shorting. They would have failed. And let's look at another example where that's the case as well, right? We look at this, right? The sweep of this high. We start seeing selling pressure occur. Oh my god, it's a liquidity sweep. We're going to go all the way down. Perhaps. But those breakout traders would have succeeded heavily, right? So there's lots of contrasting things where objectivity is rare, and order flow fills that gap in providing the objectivity that many individuals need. Now, I cannot generalize this to everything, but to a certain extent I can. So there's my little speech about order flow. Let's get into actually analyzing the day. So I mentioned that these are our two main levels. Looking for reaction here. Same thing was what we were seeing on NQ. We had our two equivalent levels, and as we do see, our levels worked out almost quite literally to par. Like, it can't get more perfect than this, right? we just barely sweep out this low, right? On a higher time frame, of course. Sweep out this low, get aggressive move towards the upside, sweep out this high, and then we see aggressive selling pressure. Now, what it's looking like is that selling is going to continue, but then again, there is low volume in this slow uptrend, so it's hard to tell. But the overall point of that was to show how much our levels worked. Now, I'm going to stop yapping and simply get into analysis. But first, data before US suggested growth may be better than expected. Thank you for that. Interesting. So we did have Paolo speaking at 11:20. That's outside of our session, so we didn't have to worry about it. And during our session, we didn't really have much on financial juice. There was one thing. I believe it was the IMF Global Financial Stability. There we go. We were just aware of that when we were trading. Other than that, we didn't really have crazy news other than Paolo, of course. But yeah, I mean, let's stop yapping. Let's get into it, like I've said for the third time, right? So already at 8:30, what we start to see is that we see aggressive selling pressure occur, right? And right now, we see aggressive selling pressure occur, and right now we're in the mindset of identifying direction, right? Our volatility is very high. It's hard to quite tell, right? Because we're getting crazy volume, right? 48K, 26K, 23K, 30. If you go to 10:30, we're still gonna have a lot, right? 14K, 15K, 21K, 19K, 23K. This is quite significant, right? We had lots of volatility until 9:30 a.m. After 9:30 a.m. was when our volume and volatility started to reduce, causing this more choppy type of action, right? And if you look on the Bookmap, we had multiple levels, right? We had this 6640 level and the 6625 level. I remember doing this in the morning video. If you guys have seen that, I did mark these out live. But as you'll go ahead and see is that we start breaking through the lows, right? Right upon market open, like right away. And aggressively start to head down. We break one level, we break one level after another. And now we're down at these 6610 levels and this 6607 level, which is around this region at these lows. Our lows actually at 6605, around 6606, so around that general region, right? And this is a pretty impactful level of liquidity, as you can see. It's long extending, and we're seeing lots of selling delta occur here. How can I say that? We're seeing very, very, very aggressive selling delta down at this region, right? And sellers are unable to break below. More than that, look at what we have here. A 1,000 order, 1,000 passive buy order participant here at 6605. And I do believe that is hit. Yeah, maybe it's a spoof. Might be. So we saw this participant come here and price automatically starts going away from it because they don't want these orders to be filled. And by doing so, this participant who may have thought to spoof could get really nice short entries, and when this clears up, shorts could come in. And I'm just making this hypothesis right now. I remember reading about it somewhere. But if this participant removes its orders and we start seeing selling pressure, shorts might actually be good there. And honestly, this might be something I add to my models, right? My entry models. I have the retracement play and the reversal play. Perhaps I can take advantage of a spoofing model as well. And this is based on macroeconomics, microeconomics. But let's just see. I'm actually curious here. We do see selling pressure. Okay, there we go. So this got removed. We saw selling pressure occur. We saw passive selling come in right there. 112, 122. So say you enter at 6612, right? At 840. 6612. Okay, hold on. 6612. Hold on. 6612. Say we exactly enter at 6612. Our stop would be kind of odd. It would be at 6615 just for sufficient space. It's 12 tick. Yeah, just look at the volatility here. Usually how that 12 ticks looks is like somewhat like that. But right now 12 ticks looks like absolutely nothing. I'm gonna go into the 1 minute. Let's see. It's at 40, exactly 40. 39, 40. So yeah, we might actually get stopped out. Do we? No, it plays out. What the hell? That's what I was thinking for it to happen. Hold on. It's because the volatility is extreme at this point. Oh yeah, there we go. We would have get stopped out. So this is the thing I was talking about with volatility earlier, right? Placing at 6615 could make sense simply because of the fact that we do have passive sellers here. And this did get spoofed, as you'll see in like there. We saw that get spoofed out. We have passive seller here at 6612.5, right? Typically I would want to place my stop above, but we have seen no absorption into that region, right? So the second best option is going to be at these highs, which is pretty high, which is at 6618. So if we do place it at those highs, right, that's 6619 would be our stop loss. Given that we did get that entry that we did, right? Right there, right? We saw this spoofing happen. We saw the selling get tapped into. Hold on. 840 right here. 6612.75 buy order. Then but where would the target be, right? Our target, this is stacked liquidity right here, right? We saw this get spoofed out, so I would expect us to break this level, right? Now we have 6602 and 6600, right? How I would do this simply because 6600 is a goddamn psychological level. I'd place my take profit right above 6600. So like 66.5 right there. And where would I target? That would be my target, right? And honestly, this did play out, but the stop loss placement is everything when it comes to these type of plays, right? The highest we went to was 17 point. Perhaps there's something here that can tell us additional valuable information. I mean, yeah, this would be how the risk is. I would have preferred to take something from 1.75 risk reward and above, but it is what it is. 1.64 risk reward would have played out pretty nicely, pretty cleanly as well. Spoofing and see them move down. So I'm actually going to go ahead and jot that down. Insanely large 5 times. Insanely large 5 times IPR limit order drives price away, disappears, then price comes back. Enter when disappear and sufficient price come back. This is essentially just the principle of the spoofing model. And this model is actually, this model would be something that's robust because it's based on an economic principle. And I just dropped a gem right there. I'm not even gonna lie. This spoofing model is very powerful. So I'm testing that. I'm not saying I would have taken that opportunity, but in hindsight, definitely something interesting to be seen, right? Because spoofing did play out pretty nicely, right? I think I explained this already, but I'm gonna explain it one more time. There is, let's just call this guy Stark Mubin. Not Mark Cuban, but Stark Mubin, right? We have Stark Mubin over here. Stark Mubin has a lot of money. With that money, he placed a passive buy order right here. Now, what did this passive buy order do to the market? It drove all of these participants away, right? Because that's going to prevent price from going lower. A lot of these sell orders are going to exit, causing price to move up. Why? Because they don't know if price will be able to break this and continue moving down. And because price went up, this participant can now get a really good entry up here. It can get a really good entry up there. So now, Stark Mubin entered shorts up there. And when he entered shorts up there, what did he do? He removed his 1,000 plus very rich passive buy order here. And because of that passive buy order being removed, there's less that is preventing price from going down. And because there is 10 times less preventing price from going down from 1,000 to now 100, these sellers are much more comfortable in entering short, and with algorithms and other stuff, they wouldn't be, how can I explain this? They wouldn't be inclined to get out of their shorts. Here, they got out of their shorts because there was preventative measures. Here, that preventative measure is taken away. So now the shorts can come in. And, okay, what did I do? As you can see, those shorts do come in, and we get to that 6605 level. But that's not really that much of an issue anymore because Stark Mubin is not there anymore. So what do? We head down to this level where here we have crazy stuff. So I would probably exit around here. But since we're seeing large volume, I'm not going to exit yet. But as you can see, we see very large seller spike downwards, pushing below all this liquidity. That's just a simple explanation of the spoofing model. I not only explained it so I can get it ingrained in me, but also because this is actually a robust strategy based on economic principles. But let's see what happens next, right? We take out all this liquidity. We take out all of that liquidity. Now, there's not really that much liquidity for price to head down. We do have 100 order right there and 300 order down at 6,550, which we did have marked out here, 6,550. So if we're gonna continue go down, we're likely gonna head to 6,550. If not, like right now, direction is not found yet, right? Because the direction that was clear here from that aggressive selling move post market open has now been removed here. because there's no liquidity for us to base off of. Now, we do have passive sellers up there at 6610, and we do see more passive sellers come in at 847. But as you can see, these buyers break through, right? And on the footprint, right? There's nothing, we see a price there. Direction may be towards the short side. But do we see anything telling us to go to the short side? Absolutely not. Now, I do see some selling. Nah, that wouldn't even be, I wouldn't even consider that selling delta. Not in high volume, per se. Now, we're starting to see aggressive buying delta come in. And direction, right now, direction is not really there. So, what do? Stay patient, wait to see what the market gives us. But while keeping that in mind, we do know that VWAP is above and our high volume node aligns with this above 4 hour. And this is all within the first 30 minutes of the market session, by the way. First 20 minutes, actually. What do we see here? There might have actually been possibility here. See, because I'm sure you saw that passive buyer there, right? Or that buy barrier. We see buy barriers moving up with the price now, right? Buyer urgency. A buyer entered in there, and sellers quickly pushed through it. So I don't know. I wouldn't count that as absorption per se. Yeah, nothing to be done there. We do have a retracement. If we held or saw more clear absorption, potentially we could have taken a retracement longs, but not really much to be seen there. We're starting to see a lot of selling absorption over a higher time frame though, right? Maybe if I can go on the 1 hour, let's go at 30 minute. 30 minute might have some information. But yeah, over this 3:30, okay, sorry. It's over here. 8:30. From 8:30 to 9 a.m., what we see is that below this 601, okay, below 6610 level, we have lots of selling absorption. How can I say this? Well, I can say this because simply by looking at the cluster chart, footprint chart, below that region, almost everything is selling delta. And does it have volume? Yes. Our high volume node of this entire candle is red and around that region. So that's where our significance comes in. Oh my god, hold on. There we go. Hold on. Okay, perfect. There we go. But yeah, still, now if you go back onto the 5 minute, let's continue working through this market session. Oh, damn. Now buyers are fighting that upper barrier. Buyers are able to push through. Now this 6625 region does seem to be an area of interest for price. 6625 area, and we do happen to stay below that region. Yeah, we stay below that region right as that 55 candle occurs. we see the aggressive buying pressure breakthrough. Again, not really seeing anything much for us to be able to enter here. Price is just moving. And at this point, for me, direction has shifted, right? Previously, used to be in a selling bias. Now we've seen this buy move, aggressive buy move occur. We're at 6627, and if you take a look at the chart, 6627. Oh, hold on. What time? At 8:55. Am I am I tripping or something? Tuesday the 14th, yes. It was at 8:55. Right here. Oh yeah, it was. So yeah, cause you're on the goddamn 1 minute, that's why. Yes, so at 6627, we've already broken our V2 region, right? Or that fair value region to enter into the shorts. 6627 is that top point where we're battling that region. Now, much higher probability that we're going to continue going higher. So my bias has shifted to now long perspective. And if you look at it, right, that's kind of perfect because as we see, we not only swept this lower liquidity, sure, but more important than that, we swept this bookmap liquidity and then we started. So not only does bookmap and order flow give you objectivity, it also gives you more in-depth precision. But yeah, I mean, bias has shifted to the upside. Still, within the first 30 minutes of the day, very action filled. No trades to be taken there. Perhaps this could be a spoofing. Big seller came in. Price moving away from it. Seller moved itself. Buying pressure came in. Seller removed itself. This is very algo-like, right? Because look, our point of control. Right as we came to that point of control, selling. Okay. Right as we got to that point of control, we saw passive sell order. Now, we pushed down again. We went up. Now, right as we touched the new point of control that was made, this seller removes its order. Interesting. Again, nothing really I'm noticing there. Okay, right at view up, there's a lot of passive selling. And here was a place I actually circled for potential trade because why? We saw lots of selling absorption here. We didn't enter into anything though, but perhaps there was something to be entered. That's what I'm looking to see. Mm, mm, mm. Well, let me move this to 2x speed. Yeah, I mean, we do see seller absorption. We can see that here as well. We can see sellers struggling to break through there as well. And we do have targets above, particularly VWAP. But would it be something I enter into? Probably not. Why? There's no barrier there. And on Bookmap, it looks to be a pretty close region, right? It, and it's aligned with the point of control as well. At the point of control, we're struggling to push lower and we're generating more volume there, and that sellers happen to get absorbed. But I mean, point of control looks like how a point of control looks, especially if this is the point of control. Above the point of control slightly, still volume, buy volume. Right below the volume control, still volume, selling delta. So I mean, potentially a trade could have been played there. Would it have been something I would have liked to take or would have taken? Probably not. Why? No barrier and realigned with the higher time VWAP, which instead of having a retracement longs, it would be a longs going into a liquidity level. Now let's keep moving forward. Here there's nothing again. Interesting. This doesn't look bad. But we can't really tell. Hold on. We do have liquidity above. Coming to this level. 12, 39. Nothing would have been taken there. No volume at that 35 region whatsoever. You know, I'm not gonna lie, this video's gone for way longer than it was supposed to be, but we'll still continue going. Here, not really much to be taken at all. We're simply just breaking through upper liquidity levels. The spread between liquidity is too small for us to be able to leverage. Now here we do enter into a decent value region around 930 right here. And I mean, it would have technically worked out. But as you can see, there's not really much for us to work with here. We have lots, like, nothing really significant. Our delta is not going crazy, and our volume is not crazy as well. Not at this low, at least. Then we push up, then we push up, then we push up. No trades I'm seeing throughout any of this. Just simple price action, moving through liquidity. Nothing we're simply watching. Direction still looks to be in the upside, but now the upside is looking more, price action is looking more choppy in terms of order flow price action. And I did it again. Great job. 10. Okay. Interesting. This doesn't look even. This place doesn't look bad, right? So, 7:35 onwards until maybe around 7:45, which is 9:35, 9:45 central. We break through this upper liquidity level as seen here. Now we retrace into this 6660 region. Want to see if there's any absorption there at 9:45. And let's see. We don't really see any absorption. What just happened? Let's wait for it to load. Did my internet stop? I don't know. It's still loading. Why is it taking so long? Okay, there we go. Yo, it's just at that one point that can buffer. Can we buffer there? Alright, there we go. Alright. So you do see price go down, then we go up again, and of course you had that crap. There. Let's go, let's go. We didn't really see any absorption or any significant absorption to the upside. It still looks very choppy. We do break through that lower region at 9, break it even more at 950 and 955 candle, but we quickly get bought back up. A level around 6656. And that seems to be the low for that retracement. We do happen to go below it. I don't really see any seller absorption there, so I would not necessarily enter into anything. And after, I don't know. Ooh, this is kind of interesting. Okay. Large passive buy order. And what happens is these sellers are actually driving price into that order. Does that order happen to get filled? It does. This order does happen to get filled, and that is exactly the order that is filled right here. Am I getting that right? Yeah, so you have around, we have 719 sell orders that get executed there. Can't really see it, but you just subtract this from the buy orders. You have 700 sell orders that got executed there. That's pretty significant, right? Now, what do we do after? There could definitely be something here. I might not have noticed that because that was very quick. And we do have that supporting us. So now, and the spread between passive buyers and passive sellers is pretty significant as well. I'm eyeing along here very carefully, right? Because large passive buy order actually got filled and aggressive selling filled it. And we have more passive buyers here. So our buying delta here is pretty extreme. It's very strong. Now, how do we react? Do we break below this lower level, this 6656 region? Or do we start to move upwards? And that's what I'm looking for. Right now we're testing that region. We have moved down to 6655. Let's see. Interesting. We don't get any sort of reaction from it. We fill those sellers, those passive buyers, and we continue heading down until which point where we reverse? Until that point. So let's see what happens once again, right? We head into that 6655 region, head to 64.75, and then we start to reverse. But that buyer aggression doesn't seem to be strong in any sense at all. And we do have that selling order right there. Realistically, what I would have liked to do around 6655, 6656 region, right? Over here, where is that? 956. Right here. What I would have liked to do was enter around 6657, or perhaps even 6658 or 9, and place my stop loss below 6655, which would have got hit, of course. But this region is that, hold on, 5 minutes prior, 5 to 5, you have this region. So the 6652, wait, hold on, over here, 6652.5 region is pretty significant. So I'd want to keep my stop loss 2 ticks below at 6652. Say we get a late entry at 6658. Where do we target? We target at 6670, so right here. Front running that take profit. Like, that's very interesting. What was that previous one? I don't even know. Looks like the 1.6, 1.7 risk to reward trades have been going berserk today. And price was giving us these little hints that we were going to continue heading upwards after this sell, and then we started moving above that region. I would like to see more aggressive buying, I'm not going to lie. There we go. This could be an area where we enter. A higher entry for sure, but more significance there. Hold on, let's spot it, let's spot it. Where'd it go? Where is it? Where was that? We're just going past it now. There we go. So at 6660.5, we saw this very aggressive buy order come in, and that got filled again. So at 6660, that would have been probably the most confirmation entry, right? Because we do have confidence and confluence that would have played out, right? First, saw this big selling absorption that we've seen. Now we're above it. We're all the way here, right? And we've pushed above this region as well, where we've seen previous aggressive selling delta, right? It's interesting. Now, the place where we saw our we did go below that. Yes, I mean, we're gonna have to keep our stop loss at the same place. 1.2 risk to reward here. but we do have that region. So let's see. This trade would happen to play out. We were given these hints about it prior to it playing out. Hmm. I mean, we go all the way to the top. It's a pretty clean play nonetheless, right? Right when we saw this aggressive passive buyer order get filled, and we move above all the selling activity that we've seen there, upon this retracement where the spread between buyers and sellers was pretty high, that's when we saw a retracement, and that's pretty objective analysis as well. And why is it objective? Because passive buyer came in, we pushed above sellers, and when we push above sellers, that's buying confidence. Push below sellers, that's selling confidence. But once again, we have to put this within the structure of the entire market via technical analysis and our key levels that we marked out as well. But here, there might be a good play as well at 10-10 right here. Right here. And we do break through that pretty easily. We don't make a reaction off of that, do we now? No absorption at all, at least. Yeah, we just push below. So it turns out that we may have missed some things that would have made us take a trade, but overall, I mean, session wasn't bad. I'm happy that we did analyze it because we found a key example of our spoofing model here, catching the lows exactly. And here, we were given hints right before this aggressive buy move came in and took out our bookmap. Couldn't. And this is very good things that we gained from order flow. So happy that we analyzed today's market. And post market, we took out this level. I know I did mention this before as well. But right now we're sitting at this 4-hour again. If we see selling action occur, we could take shorts, pushing price lower, expecting price to go lower. If not, if you see clear identity that price wants to go higher, we can take longs trying to go for the next 4-hour after breaking these highs first. But yeah, honestly, that's going to be where I end this video. It's been a 53-minute video. We've yapped quite a bit this video, but we've gone over some good stuff. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and join the free Discord server. The link is in the description below. Lots of resources, definitely a thing or two that you can gain from it. Everything is completely free as well. Additionally, if you want to check out the order flow platforms that I use, like Bookmap live streams and Addis footprint charts, and Addis is one of our channel partners as well, definitely recommend you to check out the links below as well. All of this, everything which I promote, has lots of free functionality, and you can test if it works within your strategy for completely free to a certain extent. So there's that. Highly recommend it. Once again, no financial advice. So that being said, that's all I have here for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow evening for the market analysis for tomorrow. I do think I'm going to quit the pre-market analysis sessions simply because it's quite a hassle for me. But I should be able to continue executing on the market analysis. So looking forward to that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. But I'm not going to end the video yet because we're almost at 55-minute mark. So I'm going to wait until we reach that, and then I'll end the video. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.